Yo, what is going on YouTube? It's your boy Dan, aka aDrive, bringing you guys a brand new video today talking about some Pokemon Sword and Shield rumors and potential leaks that may have surfaced on the internet. And this one's picking up some steam. A couple of you guys sent it to me over on Twitter, and I figured I'd take a peek here. But as always, you gotta take these things with a grain of salt because you never know. People could just make stuff up, or it could be the next legitimate leak that has kind of sprinkled itself onto the internet. So like I said, just always tread with caution. But I have some good news. I do think that we are going to be getting new Pokemon Sword and Shield information very soon. I do believe. So we'll talk about that here in a second. But hit that like button down below and subscribe if you guys are new. Let me know what your thoughts are on this rumor. And of course, I've been posting Pokemon Sword and Shield videos and all sorts of Pokemon content, so make sure you guys subscribe. Anyway, let's kind of jump into it here because there's some crazy stuff going on. We are just a few weeks away from Pokemon World Championships, and historically, they've done a lot of really cool reveals at Pokemon Worlds, from Mega Evolutions to new Pokemon and everything in between. So it's very likely that when Pokemon Worlds rolls around, we are going to get new information. I, however, do believe that there's a very good chance that we're going to get a new trailer next week that's going to showcase some stuff, and then we're going to get something at Worlds that's going to showcase even more stuff. So I would say keep your eyes and ears open, and again, another reason to make sure you're tuned in here to youtube.com/aDrive. But let's talk about this, and I also want to just one last piece here is 3 years ago today, Sun and Moon revealed a big trailer. I thought it was really cool to look back on. They revealed Alolan Exeggutor, Alolan Sandshrew, Sandslash, Vulpix, Ninetales. They revealed Z-moves, Oricorio forms, Minior and Minio forms. They revealed Mudbray and Fomantis and Lurantis and a bunch of stuff. So 3 years ago today, they dropped this massive Sun and Moon trailer, and it'll be interesting to see what the next Sword and Shield trailer has in store for us. I think it could be pretty epic, so I'm definitely excited for that. But anyway, let's talk about this new rumor here. So this individual is saying that the next trailer is at Worlds. Again, 100%, I really feel like 99.9999% we're going to get a trailer at Worlds or some sort of reveal at Worlds, so not anything crazy there. It's going to show off the post-game facility, which has at least 3 buildings. I think it's the Battle Frontier. Very interesting. We know that there's probably going to be a post-game. If you look at the Galar map, at the very top of the map, there's that like kind of, I don't know, it's got like the London Eye kind of deal going on there with all the different buildings and stuff. It seems like that's going to be post-game, some sort of a big city. I think that the likelihood of a Battle Frontier or some sort of resort like that is pretty likely. I think it'd be very weird to have it shown at this point in the reveal cycle, but anything's possible. I mean, it kind of reminds me of like Ultra Megalopolis, that kind of a thing where they revealed that before the game comes out. It will also talk about the starters. I think Game Freak knew that people were going to be upset about the cut, so they kept the starters and most of the legendaries so the fans can have their favorites. And this is an interesting bullet point here if you ask me, because I've actually kind of taken the thought that we know that not every Pokemon is going to be in the Galar region. My thought was like, all right, legendaries are probably going to get most of the cut, and starters are going to get a lot of the cut. But I actually kind of understand this, and the idea that all the starters are going to be into the decks, I could see that, because when you ask people what their favorite Pokemon is, I think it's more likely that someone picks a starter Pokemon than something else, just because that's your first Pokemon in your journey. So for a lot of people, I think the starters actually are more special than other Pokemon just in general. So I wouldn't be surprised if the starters across all 7 gens so far get some sort of treatment in this game. The legendaries I do disagree with, though. I think that there are going to be some legendaries that make the Galar region, including new ones, obviously. But I have a hard time feeling like they're going to have every single thing like Landorus and Dialga and, you know, Deoxys and I know it's a mythical, but you know what I'm saying? Like, I have a hard time thinking that you're going to see a Zelf and Articuno and then Cobalion in this game. I just think that some of those are going to get cut because one of the main reasons they cited for the dex cuts is like balance and metagame balance, and that's one of the easiest ways I think to balance the metagame or to change the metagame is to remove those legendaries, those really powerful Pokemon that can be over centralizing, like a Landorus Therian form, which has dominated the metagame for years because it's such a good Pokemon. It's so centralized. It really forces certain counters and things like that. Heatran, another one. These Pokemon really kind of force certain things, so by simply removing them from the game, you solve some problems, create maybe new ones, but you know what I mean. So it talks about that. Gen 2 and 4 starters have new Gigantamax forms, while Gen 1 and 3 reuse the Mega forms, except Charizard, who has a mix of X and Y. Now, the Gigantamaxing, well, Dynamaxing can be used for every Pokemon, we know that. Certain Pokemon are going to be able to Gigantamax, which means they have a form change. Dreadnought, Corviknight, and Alcremie are the 3 Pokemon that we've seen so far that can Gigantamax. I think that there's going to be probably 50 to 100 Gigantamax Pokemon if I had to just throw a number out there. And they are going to be taking the place of Mega Evolutions. It would be a little disappointing to me if they took the same exact Mega Evolution designs and said, okay, this is your Gigantamax form. But I guess I wouldn't be surprised, because why would they create a whole new Gigantamax form for a Pokemon? Well, they could just use its Mega Evolution form. So I kind of understand that. It'll be interesting to see. I think getting, you know, Gen 2, Gen 4 starters getting Gigantamax. I think that makes sense. I definitely think that all sounds pretty legitimate at this point. There's a new post office in the game. I don't really know what the purpose of a post office is. I'm a little confused about that, but there are Pokemon centers where the cafe was in Sun and Moon. You can redeem the mystery gifts there. That's pretty normal. Also, you can get stamps of Pokemon you catch, which are Sugimori art PNGs, which can be used in the picture feature. If you remember in Ultra Sun and Moon, there was the Alola Photo Studio, or whatever it was called. It was a feature that I don't know how many of you guys used. I personally didn't use it at all, but you could take all these fancy pictures with your Pokemon and put little stickers all over it and make these really cool pictures. And while I think it's cool, it was just too time consuming for me to even bother with, but I could see something like that. I actually thought the sticker collection in Ultra Sun and Moon was kind of cool. You collect the different totem stickers, you hand them to the professor, he gives you a totem Pokemon. I thought that was a cool little kind of thing instead of getting the Zygarde forms again. So I could see something like that where you get little pictures and you can use little stickers, you know. The XP share is given at the same time as Pokeballs. I don't know if it can be turned off. That makes sense. I wouldn't be surprised. The experience share has been something that they're going to give to you. I hope it can be turned off. It couldn't be turned off in Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, despite the fact that at a presentation they said it was going to be turned off. It was able to turn off, it wasn't. I think you'll be able to turn it off. It would be really dumb. The coding was in Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee to turn it off. It just didn't give you the option, which is weird. You'll be able to turn it off, I'm sure. Like the Smash Spirit Board, there's going to be events on weekends to get raids for more starters, legendaries, etc., and they have a higher shiny rate. That's something that I think that if they don't do something like that, it's going to be a miss. I really feel like they should have events, whether it's weekly or monthly or whatever. You can do events that coincide with Pokemon Go. Excuse me. You can do events that coincide with Pokemon Go. You can do events that just coincide with new Pokemon release, whatever it is. Do raids in the wild area that people can join in on that change based on different things. It just makes sense. Like, it's around holidays, put Delibird in raids, man. Like, do something like that. And that could be a way that they can introduce new Pokemon into the region that previously were going to be cut out of the decks. So I really hope they do something like that. Most of the Pokemon that were cut already had ugly idle animations, like Swellow. I don't really think Swellow, I mean, Swellow just flies. It's just floating. But this gen will have more Gen 2 pandering. There's also some Gen 1 stuff, too. So there's Gen 1, Gen 2, so a big focus on Gen 2. I could see that. One of the later towns is a girl who plays Asperdia City's theme on piano. She has a walking fur in her room. I don't know if this reference is coincidental. So there's been a lot of fur memes. I don't know. Interesting. Aspertia City. I actually don't really remember what city that is. Is that from Sinnoh? Maybe it's from Sinnoh. I don't know. Version exclusive gym leaders can be met in the other version in their homes. I don't think they can be battled. So you'll be able to see, like, instead of you could battle the two, like the ghost and the fighting type gym leaders, you'll be able to meet them in the other game. You just don't battle them. So that's kind of interesting. And then this talks about this. When the next Gen 8 drops, they'll have a patch with more Pokemon for compatibility. I don't know if I could, like, I really think that this game is gonna take, and I've said this for a long time, I think this game is gonna take the same approach as this X and Y ORAS cycle, where X and Y came out and then the next year ORAS came out, and the two games kind of worked together, but you pretty much primarily played ORAS competitively. And you could transfer the two pretty seamlessly. I'm thinking Sword and Shield, Diamond Pearl remakes are going to be the same thing. I've been saying that for a long time. It makes sense to me. I think it just makes a lot of sense. So I wouldn't be surprised if they have something like that. It would be nice if they did that, though, where the main game was still Sword and Shield, and you can kind of, you know, communicate between Sword and Shield, Diamond Pearl remakes pretty effortlessly. The one thing that really made it kind of annoying was, like, there were megas in ORAS that you couldn't have in X and Y, but it wasn't the other way around, so it made ORAS the primary game, but I think Sword and Shield should be the anchor game. T-Tar and Duraludon both have Gigantamax forms. It's interesting because the two are shown as, like, kind of rivals against each other, and if Mega Evolution Pokemon do get Gigantamax forms, it would only make sense that Tyranitar gets a Gigantamax form. Some flying Pokemon have new idle animations where they stay grounded, like Charizard, but Dynamax birds are always airborne. So, like, Charizard actually is saying it's going to have an animation on the ground instead of in the air. But then things like, you know, Corviknight and stuff are going to be airborne. Blastoise shoots Hydro Pump out of its cannons instead of out of its forehead. It doesn't do it for Water Gun and Ice Beam, though, so those are coming from the forehead. So this is saying that there's a custom thing for Blastoise. After Milo and Nessa, you can take on 3 to 7 gyms in any order. This is pretty big, though. So you take on Milo, Nessa, and then the rest of the gyms, or whatever order you want. They always have the same number of Pokemon as you, and they scale to your gym badges. So I don't know if I necessarily kind of buy into that, like the idea that they're gonna have the same amount of Pokemon as you, and they scale. Like, the scaling part I can understand, because we know that they have the ability to, like, code gym leaders to be different, because they've done it in Black and White through challenge mode. So it's not like that's out of the question. So I think it'd be really cool if there was an opportunity to kind of challenge the game in different ways, but I don't necessarily know if I buy into that. And then speaking of that, it's much harder to use Pokemon that outlevel your badges, so you can't just chuck quick balls in the wild area, and that's something interesting. So previously in Pokemon games, as you get badges, the Pokemon that you capture will listen to you up into a certain point. However, that's a misconception. If you have 0 badges and you take your level 5 Torchic, and I'm going to use this example because I did it in ORAS. If you take your level 5 Torchic and train it up to level 50 before battling Roxanne, it still listens to you. It's only if you get Pokemon from other people that don't listen to you. If it's your OT, if you're the original trainer, that Pokemon's going to listen to you at level 100, even if you have no badges. That's just how the game is. The old games, I think, were different, but the newer games are like that, where it doesn't matter what the level of the Pokemon is. If you're the original trainer, it's going to listen to you. So this is essentially suggesting that that's different. Now, I don't know how legitimate that is to make that kind of assumption, but we do know that when you go into the wild area, you're going to be able to encounter Pokemon that are much higher levels than what you previously encountered. Like in other games, like we saw that there was like really high level Pokemon just walking around, like Machokes and stuff at the beginning of the game. So that's something interesting to note. And I wouldn't be surprised if they added some sort of a balancing mechanic there to make it so, all right, if you have, if you're level, level 20 and you have 0 badges, that Machoke is not listening to you. Simple as that. I think that they should do something like that, because it would actually add another element to training in, and by using like the camping feature and things like that, the Pokemon will trust you more and maybe listen to you more. I don't know. Could be some cool stuff there. So pretty interesting rumor. Nothing too crazy, like a lot of information kind of talking about the Gigantamaxing, talking about the different picture things. Pretty safe, I would say. Nothing too like outlandish in this, but I thought it was worth talking about. Again, a couple people had mentioned it to me, so I thought it was worth bringing up. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Hit that like button, subscribe if you guys are new, and keep an eye out for the trailer next week, but definitely at Worlds. I think that's, if there's one thing that's right, I think there's definitely a trailer at Worlds, that's for sure. Let me know. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching. Peace.